Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at market roundup of crypto. Is it a good time to be getting into crypto? All of the things around the cryptocurrency market and what you should be doing about it right now. Obviously nothing I say on this channel is financial advice, so always go away and do your own research before investing any of your own money. Without further ado, let's jump into today's video. So guys, first of all, we're going to dive across and look at tradingview.com. Everything I talk about today will be linked down below in the description, so make sure you go and check it all out if you want to after this video. Now I'm looking here at the Bitcoin chart. Now if you've been in crypto for any period of time, you'll understand that when Bitcoin falls or Bitcoin goes up, everything else around it will do the same, but in fact will react much more aggressively. The reason for that, Bitcoin has a very big market cap, nearly $400 billion. So for Bitcoin to move up 10%, it needs to add $40 billion to its market cap, whereas Solana, for example, which is sat at number 9, has only $11 billion market cap, so to go up 10% only needs to add $1 billion. So you understand perhaps why the other cryptos will ramp far more aggressively than Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is basically the granddaddy of crypto, so we're going to take a look at what's going on here. Now you can see ever since back in November, we've been in this downtrend, and that's happened for a number of different reasons. Obviously, perhaps at this level, crypto was overvalued, but ultimately this is kind of the backlash for what's been happening in the world. Obviously, we've had coronavirus, which has had a huge impact on economies worldwide. Now, the United States of America, which is obviously the world's largest economy, has basically been suffering because of overinflation. So what they've been doing is they've been printing more money, which ultimately devalues that money in circulation, because they need to do that in order to bail out all of the people who are put under pressure by the lack of business during COVID, and by giving out money to its residents to try and ease the pain of unemployment and various other things. Now the problem with doing this is ultimately the value of the dollars that you have saved away in your bank account become less. Everything in the shops becomes more expensive, but perhaps still you're earning the same salary, making this kind of like an ultimate painful squeeze. Now in order to combat that, you then have to hike interest rates. Hiking interest rates then makes the dollar a more valuable investment, but it also makes it more risky to invest in other higher risk assets such as cryptocurrency stocks, shares, etc. And the Fed has been increasing interest rate hikes all the time, the last one being back in June 16, where it was raised by 75 basis points. However, it's expected that there's going to be more interest rate hikes towards the end of this year, which causes still a little bit of uncertainty hanging over the crypto markets. It's also meant that the US dollar, bearing in mind that Bitcoin is against the US dollar, has also been absolutely soaring towards the upside. If I click here on the DXY, I can see the US dollar index. This is on a weekly chart, guys, and this literally right now, and this is back in 2002. If we currently look at where it's at, it's literally at its highest point since 2002, and that's literally today. Yes, it's come down a little bit, and if we're going to jump into a daily chart, then you can see that it has breached beyond this all-time high and continues to pump. In the last few weeks, we've seen crypto moving to the upside, and that's when the US dollar was moving down. So no matter what everyone tells you about what's going on in crypto, it's literally 100% linked to what's going on in the US dollar, because Bitcoin's against the US dollar, Ethereum's against the US dollar. So this moves up, everything against it must move down, and ultimately we've broken through. We are now going to retest this previous line of resistance as support, and ultimately I think it will continue to carry on towards the upside as the rest of the world's economies struggle against the US dollar, which ultimately will blow off top at some point and come crashing down, and then that's when our crypto bull market will start. Diving across to coin market cap, before we look at further analysis of where I see Bitcoin going in the shorter term, I want to consider the best investment strategy going forward. Now, I already talked about the market cap size of Bitcoin and how it will move slower when the markets start to move again. Now, obviously, in a downtrend, Bitcoin's less risky because it is less volatile than the other markets, because it has that bigger market cap. It's more stable, it's less likely to drop 50% in a day because that's a lot of money. Whereas coming down through the list, the further you get away from that number one spot, they become riskier and riskier assets, because the move percentage-wise is significantly larger than you would experience in something else. However, in terms of where to find the best gains in crypto going forward, actually once the crypto market starts to move again, the opportunity is enormous because all of the coins that can survive this bear market are where we see the biggest gains going forward. So you're coming down the list. If we look into the top 10, you can see some phenomenal coins here. First of all, I'm looking here at Solana. Solana is thought to be the next Ethereum killer. Whether or not that happens, I don't necessarily think it will in the short term. Solana's a 7x away from its all-time high. So if you could put in $100, it gets back to all-time high. You then have $700. Dogecoin as well is massively down. Now Solana's one of the fastest, if not the fastest, ultra scalable blockchains out there. You've then got other coins like Dogecoin, obviously a meme coin, Shiba Inu, a meme coin. Now I want to point out these two meme coins. They have seen incredible returns and they still have multi-billion-dollar market caps. What this means shouldn't be something to alarm you in crypto, but it means that people in crypto don't really know what they're investing in. A lot of people in crypto haven't got much of a clue about what each of the different cryptos does. All they want to do is make money, and that's fair enough because I also want to make money, but for me, I also like to understand what these different things are about. But what that means, guys, is pretty much when you find any of these cryptos in the top kind of 20, maybe even 30, you've got coins like Avalanche, Chainlink. These are phenomenal technologies, and if you take these ones which have phenomenal technologies, they survive the bear market, and as and when the crypto market starts to move again, you're going to see huge gains potentially in these tokens. Obviously not financial advice, go away and do your own research. But I want to show you all of these charts, guys. This is Mana Decentraland, which is like one of the original metaverse tokens. It's currently 650% away from its all-time high. You've got Solana here, which again, as I mentioned, is 770% from all-time high. Avalanche, 675% away from its all-time high. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, because right now, you probably don't want to buy into cryptocurrency. And there's a reason for that, guys. We have inside us a monkey mind. Okay, so basically we still react to certain things in an uncontrollable way. The same as when someone jumps out and scares you, you still jump in the air and shout. In the same way that we can't help but laugh at something funny or whatever. This is still in our mind that we can't control certain things, and this is one of them. So I want you to look at this, which is the Wall Street cheat sheet, and it talks about the different mentalities that we feel going through a market cycle. Now you probably realize that when it's at the top of the market, you get this euphoria. You have this panic that you're not going to be able to buy anymore. You think you're going to be rich. You've already turned $1,000 into $20,000. Why can't that $20,000 now be worth $100,000? Why do I not have enough money available to turn it into $1 million? You get the picture. But the problem with that is ultimately the people who are controlling the markets have the ability to think outside of this and are waiting for you to keep buying at the top so they can sell. Which is why we feel so excited and we can't buy enough at the top. And yet, on the flip side of things, when it's at the bottom, which is pretty much at the bottom now in my opinion, we don't want to. We're scared. We think it's going to continue to go lower and lower. We're depressed maybe. We're angry about what's happened because we've lost loads of money, or we could have sold the top because we were already up like 20, 30, 50, maybe even more money. And now we're depressed because we think it's going to continue lower. Bitcoin's going to go to 5 grand, etc. Now, I want you to think outside of this because right now we're past the anger, in my opinion. I think we're in kind of like the depression phase. People are feeling pretty sad about what's going on. And I think we're going to be moving into this disbelief area very shortly. And what is it that makes me think this? Well, guys, if we jump across to Bitcoin, yes, I do think that the US dollar is going to continue to push a little bit harder. And we could see a little bit further of a drop in Bitcoin. But realistically, I think the bottom still exists in this zone through here. Now, I'm going to show you the concept of a supply and demand zone here, where I'm going to draw a nice rectangle across this area. I'm going to show you it's green because we know that green means go and a good time to buy. Now, the way markets move, if we look at like Forex, everything like this, when you get institutions entering into a market and they know that the market's going to be moving up, they want to buy at a particular price. So here you can see that we had this consolidation zone around here. The price they wanted to buy at was around $16,000 to around $20,000. They don't want to buy in this area because it's heavily overpriced in their opinion. They wait for it to move. So this is when we get these ray traces like this and retraces into this same zone. So we know that pretty much around $17,700, give or take a few $100s, is where people are prepared to buy Bitcoin. So that doesn't change. But despite us being further on by a year or so, you can see that around this zone is pretty much the market price where people are willing to buy Bitcoin. So if we see a further slip into this zone, expect it to be bought up very quickly. Now, what's also very exciting is this is a falling wedge for Bitcoin. This is a bullish pattern, guys. It doesn't feel like it because we are pushing towards the downside, but ultimately this will break out and it will have a target back towards all-time highs, taking a Fibonacci retracement. Now ultimately when we break past all-time highs on most cryptos, obviously it didn't happen the previous time we double topped, we would look towards the 1.618, which lo and behold is pretty much $100,000. So right now you're probably seeing loads of news and everything telling you that crypto is going to tank, but I want you to think about why that is. Because the big institutions want you to continue selling so they can buy up at the cheapest prices. Lo and behold, at the top of the market, everyone will be telling you to buy crypto because Bitcoin's going to go to 300, 400k. Be very cautious of buying after these huge pumps towards the upside. There's a lot of stuff and talk about institutions getting into crypto. Right now, I believe about 0.03% of the world's banks and hedge funds are actually invested in crypto. So there will be potential for movement in the future, but I still don't think it's now. It's still a heavily risky asset. People with big money don't need to invest in heavily risky assets. What they can do is invest into companies that deal with the riskier assets. So we can see here BlackRock, which is one of the biggest wealth management companies in the world, if not the biggest, has now gone for a partnership with Coinbase, which is one of the biggest crypto companies in the world. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, teamed up with crypto exchange Coinbase in August in a move that both Wall Street and the crypto industry are watching closely. BlackRock says the partnership will help clients more easily manage and trade their Bitcoin. For Coinbase, it's a validation of sorts after it suffered a $1.1 billion loss for the second quarter as crypto market slumped. The company's shares have fallen more than 70% this year. 70% drop in a year is why the big money will not get involved in crypto right now, because 70% of like $10 billion is $7 billion. And if you put all of these companies together, they have trillions of dollars under management. They can't afford to be losing 70% in the year, and they don't need to risk losing 70% when they're happy enough making 10%, 15%, etc. So realistically, guys, crypto has an amazing upside into the future, but every time people tell you that all the banks are piling in and you're going to be making hundreds of thousands of dollars in the next bull run, be very cautious. Take profits when they're available. But right now, the crypto market is ripe for the picking. You have the potential to be able to buy at like an 80% discount in many cryptocurrencies. Look at it that way and you can't go far off. If you buy a little bit right now and it falls further, then buy more, and then your dollar cost averaging the amount that you've paid over a period of time. And that's something that is probably the best way to be making money, in my opinion, in crypto. So in summary, guys, crypto markets are very low right now. Amazing opportunities. Look at some of the best protocols that are going to support things like gaming, so things like Sandbox. Look at things that are going to support things like NFT, Web3 development, like Avalanche, Solana, and other cryptos with large enough market caps to take away the risky downside, but also with small enough market caps that you're going to see some amazing growth in the next year or so. As I mentioned, go away and do your own research on all of the things I've talked about. It's only your responsibility to look after your money and no one else's. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that video today. If you did, make sure you smash the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. Thanks very much for doing that. And if you're new to the channel, you want to learn more about crypto, Web3 and NFTs, make sure you subscribe to be kept up to date with all of the latest happening. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon with another video.